This is the Simagic GT Neo. This video isn't about the GT Neo, that has been around for a while and it is considered one of the best GT wheels out there. This video is about the PXN GT1, GT steering wheel that is very close to that Anagram Neo 1 from the Matrix. Essentially, PXN wants a piece of the pie of the entry-level GT wheel space. PXN, gluten for punishment as they are, sent a steering wheel for review. I also have an affiliate link with them, and as always, all opinions are my own, as it's going to be apparent. But before going there, a big thank you to all the viewers, members, and subscribers for your support. I'm also trying to get 100,000 subscribers, and the best way to support the channel is pressing like and subscribe, and also check out channel sponsor Coach Dave Academy. Anyways, my background with PXN is quite interesting. I've reviewed the PXN V9 and V10 years ago. I say they are bad products, really bad products, and you can write all your mean comments in the comment section below. Please do that. Then a couple of years later, PXN releases the VD line, which I had access for review. That one was actually really good. I think the VD6 is a really good bundle. The wheelbase is actually really nice. It's surprisingly good in PXN. You can see at the moment they are on the redemption act of the sim racing anime. That we need to talk about prices and specs because it's $219, 229 euros, or 219 British pound, give or take a few, depending, of course, of tariffs and VAT and all of that. But there's also an early bird discount around 10% that will drop the price to $199, 209 euros, or 199 pounds. That's a way to wet your beak. It's a nice 10% discount, more or less. But this video will be, of course, more long-term, and therefore we'll ignore the early bird discounts that will be available for only 2 weeks. At that price, it means it's around 90 pounds cheaper than the Simagic GT Neo, around the same price as the Moza Chaos, but that one does need an adapter, so it increases the price, and that is brought separately. Of course, it is less expensive than the KS Pro and the Conspeed 300 GT, but those things have more features. This wheel is Sim Hub compatible and natively compatible with their VD line through their own D-Spec type of quick release. So that's quite interesting. But of course, it will be compatible with any quick release or any wheelbase or ecosystem, or almost all of them, with a quick release change, and then you connect it via USB-A port or via integrated USB if your wheelbase has that. I've been using this with the Ace-Tech Forte over the last month or so, and inside the box there's a cable, coiled cable, and also some stickers to customize your experience. In terms of specs, it's 300 millimeters wide, so it's GT size. You can use it for F1, but it's not really an F1 wheel. In terms of build, it's solid fiberglass reinforced plastic, TPE handles, 15 LED rev lights, 12 retro-illuminated buttons, 2 thumb rotaries, 2 7-way funky switches, 3 12-way encoders that are retro-illuminated, magnetic shifters, and 2 clutch paddles. That's around 60 inputs, if not a little bit more. I've been trying to get for the last month or so the downsides of this wheel, and the only thing I've got was really the quick release, because the D-Spec of PXN isn't really that popular, and it comes with mounting of 50 or 6x50, which isn't really that common. Others have in the more common 6x70, but even so, there are others that also have that. So that's really the only downside, and even so, it isn't really that a big one. This is a fiberglass reinforced plastic. I believe that Simagic is carbon fiber reinforced plastic, but in terms of rigidity, I don't see any difference between the Simagic and this one. It really doesn't bend. You have to put a lot of force into this. These handles are PTFE or something of the sorts. They are very rigid. I would recommend that you use gloves with this. For the buttons, 6 buttons each side, total 12, like I said. The weight of these are very good. Listen to the sound. Incredibly satisfying. For the price point, These are some of the best buttons. It do remind me of the Mazda KS buttons. They are probably the same. They feel exactly the same weight. They feel a little more clicky than the C-Magics. The C-Magics are really good. These ones feel really good as well. And so feel these rotaries. Wonderful orange. PXN has actually a very nice good orange, and it doesn't feel loose. A lot of the rotaries, even at higher prices, they kind of feel loose. This one specifically feels nicely weighted, and it's the case for every single button over here, except for the 7-way funky switch that feels a bit too loose. I can foresee issues with people with stronger fingers that they might activate this a little bit on the easier side. I didn't have that issue, but I can foresee that. So this is a 7-way fucking switch. And I wasn't expecting that these 12-way rotaries were actually really, really good in terms of weight and in terms of inertia. So they really feel very, very good. These will be also retro lighted. You'll see that in a moment once I connect this to the USB. These are aluminum shrouds, I believe, aluminum rotaries, or some sort of metal. These are not plastic, and they feel very, very good. And you also have the rev limiters that will be compatible with SimHub or the own PXN. At the back, we have very good shifters. These shifters are incredibly well weighted as well. I think PXN once again did a very good job. I don't like the pedals. C-Magic pedals are so much better. Conspit pedals are so much better. Even the Mazda pedals, they feel better than this. As you can see, there's also a ribbon, this ribbon cable. This ribbon cable is to connect their own D-Spec type quick release. So if you want to use this on a C-Magic, you have to change the quick release because it won't activate correctly, because there's these connectors over here. They're spring loaded, so you won't be able to fully activate it. And in order to do so, you may need an extension, because this plate over here is 6x50. Not all of the quick releases will have a 6x50 or a 3x50 compatibility. The ones available with Logitech do. This one as well for the Asetek Sim Sports does as well, but the Logitech is a bit wider in this, so you may need some sort of extension. PXN sells the extension for around 20 euros or $20. Or if you can get any sort of extension that does 3x50 to 6x50, 3x50 to 6x70, it will work as well. Mini Den is included in the box, which is absolutely phenomenal. It saves you so much time and so much money. In a lot of cases, you might need some sort of mag link in the case of the C-Magic instead of the USB. The USB that provides it will be usable, but it doesn't feel very secure at times. And once you connect it, essentially this is the illumination pattern. You have the 15 LEDs. Everything is retro illuminated. Everything is customizable. And as you can see in the rotary, once you turn it around, you can start to see that this also follows the LED in all of them. And all of these can either be 2-way or 12-way. So everything is configured in software. One thing that you need to keep in mind, and I have to say thank you for PXN because they were really patient with me. I wasn't able to make the rev lights work. One thing that I would recommend, that you go to games and then you press quick setup on the game you want to activate. Not all of them are supported, but if you want to do Assetto Corsa Competizione, Assetto Corsa Automobilista 2 is not supported at the moment, but Le Mans Ultimate, for example, it should be. Here you are. And also iRacing, it is as well, if I find it somewhere. Here it is, quick setup. This then will be compatible natively with the PXN. The PXN will have a lot of few things that will be done through the telemetry setting they have. You can change all the colors that you want. Normally this comes in white. For some reason they don't have more profiles. They need to add more profiles so you don't have to figure out what the colors or whatever. On the telemetry feedback, you can add TC, ABS, DRS, and I believe also yellow flags. Not all of the games will be compatible with this, only games with telemetry activated. And with that, you are able also to do very simple things like change the colors due to rotary modes over here for each one specifically. So if you want, for example, this middle one on Limo Ultimate to be just like up and down MFD, you can do that, or you can do absolute mode if you want to actually have the the granularity. You can also calibrate your pedals, and at the moment, as it is, as you can see, it is already for independent axis, so you can also do linked clutch, so you have a bite point and all of that stuff. Now, this on top, it's now at PXN Sim Racing. You can go and connect this to SimHub. It is quite simple. Once it's done there, you go to SimHub, and on SimHub, it has PXN GT1. You can have a look at the devices, and it will find the device over here. If you do PXN, it should be there, PXN GT1. They also have the other ones. So it's pretty cool to see PXN is making everything compatible with SimHub to make it more streamlined. For example, if you have the DNR profiles, you can do the DNR profiles. You can use a lot of profiles over here. I'm just testing it stuff up. You can use the default profile. You can use not this one. You need to find one that is 0.15.0. This one won't work, or it will, but it will be kind of iffy. You can do the defaults. I have also other lights that I shouldn't probably be using it, but I found it amusing because they kind of work. But you can use the default profile, and then you have access to the lights, or to flags, or to indication left and right. So this means that from the get-go, you can do a lot of things out here. And with SimHub, that means if you find profiles that are compatible with most wheels, as long as it will be a 0.15.0, that means 0 flags on this side, 15 on this one for the LED RPMs, and 0 over here. If you find something with DNR or something that will be free, it will be compatible with this wheel, and you'll actually have something that is super useful. And this wheel is not just useful with the lights, it is useful with the driving. For the driving, the PXN GT1 is a solid wheel with lots of inputs that we have seen and good ergonomics. The buttons are close by, and the engagements, they don't feel like anything is tiring with these buttons. They are actually very correctly weighted. I like the clicks, so the conclusions of the driving are very much the same for the rest of the wheel. It's really a good GT wheel with a decent amount of inputs, with a decent size and ergonomics with the 300mm wheel, which comes in handy in games where there's a lot to do. Multifunction displays to control. So that will be the case of Le Mans Ultimate, which I use this basically most of the time. And it's basically very easy to do all the things with the MFD at glance. I was able to have the same type of inputs as I have with the GSI FPE V2, except on the rotaries because the GSI has also a click. But that wheel is much more expensive. It's a completely different animal altogether. It leaves at this price nothing to be desired. The lights work in both PXN mode or SimHub modes. I was able to use some LED profiles I had from previous times for the buttons like I've shown you, and I'm using the stock rev lights as well. It's likely, like I've said, you can use some free LED profiles to further customize your experience. The only downside I've found is that the handles are a bit too stiff, so I couldn't drive more than an hour or two without the gloves. Keep that in mind. With using the gloves, the issue really disappeared. For conclusions, PXN with the one is getting really a solid footing in the middle range sector. It's not a joke brand anymore, PXN, though they still make wheelbases that it should avoid, altogether. The one is as close as of a huge W as you can get. It's more than a solid value. It is a solid wheel, literally and figuratively. It has all the hallmarks of a great wheel. One that was developed with a target in mind and within budget constraints, and they did it quite successfully. The real competition for the one is really, at the moment, I believe only the GT Neo, because it's the one that is as open as this one for a specific price. But I think this one is more competitive in terms of specs, in terms of price, because it's definitely cheaper. It has basically the same type of features, the same rev lights, minus or plus one button or one encoder. It's well within the same range. Though it must be said that the Simagic will have the superior quick release, even though it's the spec, because Simagic as an ecosystem is definitely more streamlined and more people have that instead of the VD line. If you buy this, most likely you'll have to change your quick release, and most likely, or not as, won't be as common with the GT Neo. A lot of people use the GT Neo in their Simagic wheelbases. PXN is really working hard for getting away from their cheap image that they have of cheap developed stuff that doesn't last at all. This one was really, really good, but they are still cooking. They have something else that I cannot say what it is. And for that, I think you should follow the channel, leave a subscribe button, because maybe sooner rather than later you'll see it.